I was informed in the course of my official duties of a multi-decade UAP crash retrieval and reverse engineering program.
Did you have any personal knowledge of people who have been harmed or injured in efforts to cover up or conceal these extraterrestrial technology?
Yes.
This is David Grusch, testifying under oath before Congress in July this year. It would be easy to say his statements must be the most incredible that have ever been uttered in the US Senate. This former, highly decorated intelligence officer is stepping into the limelight, saying he has classified information about secret government UFO programs and even recovered extraterrestrial bodies. Grusch says the government hasn't just been keeping this stuff under wraps, they've been doing it illegally. And when he tried to call attention to it, he felt the heat in the form of unlawful pushback. This led him to making a complaint to the Intelligence Community Inspector General, which in turn has led him to testifying in front of Congress. But who is David Grusch, and why is the US government taking his claims so seriously? David Charles Grusch, born in 1987 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. He isn't just any whistleblower. He is a 36-year-old decorated veteran who has been knee-deep in intelligence work, from serving in Afghanistan to roles in key national agencies. In 2009, he graduated from the University of Pittsburgh with a science degree in physics, before joining the US Air Force as a second lieutenant in 2010. He went on to serve in Afghanistan, where he collected intelligence on the locations of senior Taliban leaders and was awarded with several medals for his exceptional service. Grusch continued working in the US Air Force with various responsibilities until 2016, when he joined the National Reconnaissance Office. The NRO is responsible for designing, building, and operating high-tech reconnaissance satellites. These satellites are essentially super advanced cameras and sensors in space that collect data from around the world. This could be anything from taking photos of military bases in other countries to monitoring climate change. The NRO then provides this top-secret information to other US government agencies like the CIA, NSA, and the Department of Defense. Amongst his other roles, he's advised DARPA, the Central Research and Development Organization of the Department of Defense. He's worked on numerous special access programs dealing with especially sensitive classified information, and has worked for the DoD as a science and engineering technical advisor. His resume is filled with so many acronyms that it's barely comprehensible without detailed knowledge of the US military and intelligence services. In 2021, he joined the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, an agency tasked with supplying highly detailed mapping and analysis that can show things like terrain, buildings, and other features used for national security purposes. Think a secret, highly accurate Google Maps on steroids. During his time at the NGA, he was a lead investigator for unidentified anomalous phenomena and transmedium anomaly issues. Quite a mouthful. Basically analysing UFO reports that appear to operate in multiple mediums, i.e. air, water, and space. He also reported to the UAP Task Force, a government program for collecting UAP sightings, which later transformed via legislation to AARO, the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office. Naturally, his roles have provided him with top-secret clearance, the highest clearance level in the US, and his extensive experience has earned him the trust of colleagues within the intelligence community and insiders like the ones who worked or are working on these alleged otherworldly programs that he is claiming exist. So yeah, he's a pretty impressive guy with an impressive track record and some serious credentials. But what does he claim to know? And how does he claim to know it? Starting in 2022, Grusch started feeding Congress a trove of recorded classified information that turned into hundreds of pages. None of these claims were made public though until a bombshell interview with News Nation was released in June 2023.
You are one of the most trusted former intelligence officials in the US defense and intelligence establishment.
Yes, I was.
What Grusch said amounted to 4 main claims. Number 1. There are secret government programs, some decades old, hidden in plain sight inside other programs dealing with retrieved debris from UAP or UFOs of non-human origin, and even some fully intact. Number 2. These programs have recovered the bodies of these craft's occupants. Number 3. UAP has injured service members. Number 4. People have been killed in order to protect the secrecy of these programs. Now, it should be made clear that Grusch doesn't claim to have first-hand knowledge of these things, but has learned them after allegedly interviewing many UFO program insiders who have.
My testimony is based on information I've been given by individuals with a long-standing track record of legitimacy and service to this country.
From 2021 to 2023, whilst he served at the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency analysing UAP, he supposedly interviewed 40 workers from inside these programs. Though for the protection of these individuals, he says he can't name them in a public setting. This is a common theme throughout his testimony.
I can't discuss that in an open session. I can't discuss that publicly, but I can't go beyond what I've already stated publicly. Once again, I can't discuss that publicly. That's something I can't discuss publicly. I can't go beyond what I've already espoused publicly. I'd be happy to give you that in a closed environment. I can't get into the specifics. Something I can't discuss in public setting.
Have you seen the spacecraft?
I have to be careful to describe what I've seen.
Skeptics note the convenience of not being able to divulge crucial information to back up his claims.
All we have are the claims of David Grusch, who is making a lot of very extraordinary claims, but they're all based on either things he says are secret or things he says that somebody told him.
However, Grusch says he has given this information to the Inspector General and has also offered up names, dates, locations of materials, and basically everything he knows to members of Congress if he is given access to a SCIF, a sensitive compartmented information facility. Basically a government-certified room where no recording equipment is allowed and is invulnerable to being surveilled or listened into by anyone outside of the room. But as of now, for some publicly unknown reason, Grusch has not been granted access to a SCIF, which is undeniably strange considering how seriously his claims are being taken otherwise. Whilst his refusal to publicly name his sources or talk on certain aspects of what he has learned is incredibly frustrating, his reasoning is arguably justified. Going by his resume and actions, Grusch is clearly a dedicated patriot who took an oath to serve his country and is looking to effect change from within. Revealing classified information would be seen by the US government and the public as a breach of trust. You see, before anyone with a security clearance is allowed to talk publicly about their role or information they are privy to, they must clear that information with DOPSA, the Defense Office of Pre-Publication and Security Review. Anything Grusch says outside of what he has been specifically authorized to say could land him in jail for treason, something he understandably wants to avoid. But you are probably asking yourself, if what he has claimed has been approved by DOPSA, then isn't that essentially confirmation that what he is saying is true? The answer is, unfortunately, no. DOPSA is there to check the material Grusch has submitted for public consumption doesn't contain any national secrets. So all it means is that what he said isn't considered secret. He could have been authorized to talk about Santa Claus if he wanted. Whether Santa is real or not is irrelevant. If it doesn't constitute a national security breach, then in theory, it would be authorized. Now, to some, this whole situation may seem like it's just some traumatized military guy that's watched too much Joe Rogan and he's either lying, delusional, has been deliberately misinformed for some reason, or all of the above. And with no solid evidence to support his claims, there's only his story to go by. Grusch has openly admitted to having suffered from PTSD after the death of a colleague in the armed forces, and according to an article in The Intercept, he was treated in 2014 and 2018 for alcohol abuse and for making a suicidal statement. So yes, he has suffered with mental health issues before, but it would be wrong to assume that that makes him a crazy. After all, 5% of adults in the US alone have PTSD in any given year. Plus, even though his bosses knew of these issues and reviewed his clearances, Grusch kept his top-secret security clearance throughout this period and beyond. Then maybe he is lying. But what's the motive? And the consequences of lying under oath are very serious, like time behind bars and big fines serious. Would someone so highly decorated and successful throw all that away for no reason? Forensic psychologist and body language expert Dr. G analysed the News Nation interview, looking for clues that might indicate whether Grusch is being truthful.
I am for real.
Once again, there were the eyes closed. I am for real. Now, that could just mean that he's stressed talking about this. It could also be a sign of deception.
He found many instances where Grusch's body language could suggest he was lying, but ultimately he wasn't able to make a definitive conclusion either way. So maybe Grusch is being deliberately misled then, being fed false information to discredit him. But why? If his superiors wanted to remove Grusch from his position for whatever reason, there are far easier ways than getting tens of people to feed him false information about UFOs in the hope that he would whistleblow and leave his role. It's too convoluted a plan, relies on too many people and too many things to fall into place to make sense to me. Does all this mean he is telling the truth then? Well, of course not. But Grusch's credibility has been further bolstered by the support he's had from influential figures who are standing up for him. For example, Carl E. Nell, a retired Army colonel now working in the aerospace industry, describes David Grusch as beyond reproach, meaning he has no criticism of Grusch's character or what he is claiming. Grusch's legal representation is this guy, Charles McCullough III, a top DC lawyer who used to be the bigwig Inspector General for the entire intelligence community. He filed Grusch's complaint to the IGIC and sat behind him during the hearing in July. And Grusch's claims were also supported by Jonathan Gray, an alleged generational officer of the United States intelligence community with a top-secret clearance, currently working at NASIC, the National Air and Space Intel Center, the Air Force's go-to place for analysing all sorts of aerial, space and cyber threats to keep the US safe. Gray was quoted not only confirming the existence of exotic materials, but also saying, "The non-human intelligence phenomenon is real. We are not alone. And retrievals of this kind are not limited to the United States. This is a global phenomenon, and yet a global solution continues to elude us." Bold statements. Finding clear evidence of Gray's existence hasn't been easy though, with some claiming that Jonathan Gray is in fact a pseudonym to hide his true identity. So when you put it all together, it seems like Grusch isn't just a rogue agent with a fanciful story. He's a credible figure supported by equally credible peers.
We have spacecraft from another species.
We do, yeah.
But that's not enough for many people, and rightly so, because there is still one extremely obese elephant in the room: the lack of corroborative evidence. Whilst I find his story compelling, it's not enough. Not yet. And it will only really be enough when mainstream science is able to examine undeniable physical evidence. Though, if we did get to hear from the people Grusch spoke to, who claim they work directly on these technologies and programs, that would be a huge step forward also. And with a recent article published in Public claiming to find evidence that other whistleblowers have given information to the Inspector General regarding the programs Grusch has spoken about, it might be sooner than we think. All we can say though is that there must be something to all this. Whether it's ET, super advanced, super secret tech, some ridiculously convoluted conspiracy to make us all slaves to the elite, or something far stranger, the jury is still out.
You are saying to the human race, for the first time, we are not alone.
We're definitely not alone.
In 2014, the world was gripped by a tragic event that left countless questions unanswered. Flight MH17, a civilian airliner, fell from the skies under mysterious circumstances, killing the 298 people on board. The investigation into Flight MH17 from NEO takes you deep into the heart of this tragic event, exploring the painstaking efforts of the international investigators and forensic experts as they piece together the wreckage, analyze the debris, and examine the victims' remains in an effort to discover the truth. It's an incredible story, and it's only available on Nebula. Nebula is an amazing place, a streaming service set up and run by your favourite creators, and it's also the best way that you can support my channel. It has a ton of exclusive content that you can't find anywhere else, like me ripping into Quake 2, something I wouldn't have been able to do on YouTube because it gets a little bit sweary and would 100% be demonetized and ignored by the algorithm. There's behind the scenes bonus content. And there are literally hundreds of your favourite creators on there also making stuff that you can't find anywhere else on the internet. Like Wendover's series, Logistics of X, or Neo's How the Twin Towers Were Built, or Patrick Willem's Night of the Coconut. And you also get Nebula classes, creators teaching how to create. Great for aspiring creators or those of you that just love seeing behind the curtain. No ads, no algorithms, and every penny Nebula makes goes right back into supporting your favourite creators. So if you want to support me, support my channel, and to get 40% off an annual Nebula subscription, yes, 40%, that's $2.50 a month, then click on the link here or down in the description and sign up today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.